Present perfect. The present perfect is formed from the present tense of the verb have and the past participle of a verb. We use the present perfect tense for something that started in the past and continues in the present. Example: they have been married for nearly 50 years. She has lived in Liverpool all her life. Note: we normally use the present perfect continuous for this. She has been living in Liverpool all her life. It has been raining for hours. For something we have done several times in the past and continue to do. I have played the guitar even since I was a teenager. He has written 3 books and he is working on another one. I have been watching that program every week. We often use a clause with since to show when something started in the past. They have been staying with us since last week. I have worked here since I left school. I have been watching that program every week since it started. When we are talking about our experience up to the present, note, we often use the adverb ever to talk about experience up to the present. My last birthday was the worst day I have ever had. Note, and we use never for the negative form. Have you ever met George? Yes, but I have never met his wife. For something that happened in the past, but is important at the time of speaking. I can't get in the house. I have lost my keys. Teresa isn't at home. I think she has gone shopping. I'm tired out. I have been working all day. We use the present perfect of be when someone has gone to a place and returned. A. Where have you been? B. I have just been out to the supermarket. A. Have you ever been to San Francisco? B. No, I have been to Los Angeles. But when someone has not returned, we use have or has gone. A. Where is Maria? I haven't seen her for weeks. B. She has gone to Paris for a week. She will be back tomorrow. We often use the present perfect with time adverbals, which refers to the recent past. Just, only just, recently. Scientists have recently discovered a new breed of monkey. We have just got back from our holidays. Or adverbial which includes the present, ever in questions, so far, until now, up to now, yet in questions and negatives. Have you ever seen a ghost? Where have you been up to now? Have you finished your homework yet? No, so far I have only done my history. Warning: do not use the present perfect with an adverbial which refers to past time, which is finished. So we can't say, I have seen that film yesterday. We have just bought a new car last week. When we were children, we have been to California. But we can use it to refer to a time which is not yet finished. Have you seen Helen today? We have bought a new car this week. Forming the present perfect. Positive. Subject. Have plus past participle. She has visited. Negative. Subject. To have plus not plus past participle. She hasn't visited. Interrogative. To have. Subject plus past participle. Has she visited? Negative interrogative. To have not. Subject plus past participle. Hasn't she visited? The present perfect of any verb is composed of two elements. The appropriate form of the auxiliary verb to have, in present tense, plus the past participle of the main verb. The past participle of a regular verb is base plus ed, e.g., played, arrived, looked. For irregular verbs, see the table of irregular verbs. To walk, in present perfect. Positive, I have walked. Negative, I haven't walked. Interrogative, have I walked? You have walked. You haven't walked. Have you walked? He, she, it has walked. He, she, it hasn't walked. Has he, she, it walked? We have walked. We haven't walked. Have we walked? You have walked. You haven't walked. Have you walked? They have walked. They haven't walked. Have they walked? Function of the present perfect. The present perfect is used to indicate a link between the present and the past. The time of the action is before now but not specified, and we are often more interested in the result than in the action itself. Be careful. There may be a verb tense in your language with a similar form, but the meaning is probably not the same. The present perfect is used to describe an action or situation that started in the past and continues in the present. For example, I have lived in Bristol since 1984, and I still do. An action performed during a period that hasn't yet finished. She has been to the cinema twice this week, and the week isn't over yet. A repeated action in an unspecified period between the past and now. We have visited Portugal several times. An action that was completed in the very recent past, expressed by just. I have just finished my work. An action when the time is not important. He has read War and Peace. The result of his reading is important. Note: when we want to give or ask details about when, where, who, we use the simple past. Action started in the past and continued in the present with since and for. They haven't lived here for years. She has worked in the bank for 5 years. We have had the same car for 10 years. Have you played the piano since you were a child? When the time period referred to hasn't finished. I have worked hard this week. It has rained a lot this year. We haven't seen her today. Action repeated in an unspecified period between the past and now. They have seen that film 6 times. It has happened several times already. She has visited them frequently. We have eaten at that restaurant many times. Action completed in the very recent past, plus just. Have you just finished work? I have just eaten. We have just seen her. Has he just left? When the precise time of the action is not important or not known. Someone has eaten my soup. Have you seen Gone with the Wind? She has studied Japanese, Russian and English. Now let's get down to practice. We have already published her new novel. The tomatoes haven't ripened yet. I have only recently sent her an invitation. How many times have you been really angry? Jim has had 3 car accidents. She has just phoned me. She phoned me just now. We haven't solved the problem yet. I have already washed the floor. She hasn't received any letters from her father lately. He has written 2 books this year. I have done a lot of work today. He hasn't seen his family for weeks because he has been working so hard. He has always wanted to visit Paris. I haven't spoken to him since he moved to Paris. Since I have known this girl, she has always bought much food. She hasn't met Peter since Monday. We will continue the discussion as soon as we have collected more facts. My dad has always been interested in politics.